Hi, parents. My name's Fitz, and I've been playing VRChat for nearly 8 years now. Um, I just want to say to those parents who have their kids come on to VRChat, playing VRChat, and think, oh, it's just a cute game with a bunch of like avatars and models that look adorable, and this is meant for a kids game. I hate to be a bearer of bad news, but VRChat is not a kids game. It was not really designed for a kids game. And let me break this down. And I know like a lot of people on YouTube will sit there and say VRChat was meant to be a kids game. They haven't been on VRChat as long as I have, and so many others. Um, I just want to point this out and say back then all you needed was a PC, laptop, and a VR headset. There wasn't no such thing as a Quest back then. I mean, there was a rarity that there was a child on VRChat. It was rare, and it felt class that you needed like a $2,000 headset or a $2,000 computer, sorry, to actually be able to play VRChat. Um, when Quest came out in the middle of May of 2019, um, that's when we seen more kids like able to pop into VRChat. VRChat, yeah, it says it's 13 plus. It's 13 plus because of COPA. If you don't know what COPA is, look it up. Because VRChat didn't really have an age, because they know that like VRChat knew like they weren't gonna have kids on the platform like for the longest time. Um, their demographic was actually like people in their like mid 20s, and that was like me back in like back in 2017, 2018. When we heard a kid, we sat there and reported them, and they were gone. You don't hear from them ever again, which is great. Which was amazing. Um, so there weren't a whole lot of predators back in the day. I mean, I wouldn't say like that, but there was predators, but not like a serious case of it is today. Um, Quest 2 rolled around. I believe that the Quest 2 rolled around in 2020, 2021-ish. That's when a lot more kids are receiving these headsets to play games like uh, VRChat, Rec Room, Gorilla Tag, and I think Among Us VR came out then too. So it was like a lot of kids wanted VR because they want to play those games. That's when VRChat started becoming this uh, scenario where tons of predators are coming in and like the community. VRChat is not doing nothing about the predators. It feels like they're not doing enough for it. Yes, they sat there and put the 18 like recently they sat there and added a 18 plus verification. That means you can go and be safe away from these kids. You can be age gated, and it was great. Um, I wish VRChat would do more something about this age gated stuff, but alas, VRChat's not doing enough with its own predatory system. There's already been a handful of devs that were into that sort of thing. Futsal, for an example, and I think there's a couple more. They didn't know anything about it till like until a video appeared uh, which I'll link everything in the description. Everything went down. Everyone's like freaking out. I was like, wow, there's actually like pedos on VRChat. There's tons of predatory people on here. Uh, VRChat isn't meant for kids. VRChat was never meant for kids. VRChat was meant for people who wanted to get away from reality and go into virtual reality. This game, it's not even a game, it's a social platform. And that's why COPA, like I said earlier, COPA uh, forced everyone back in 2019 with harsher punishments if they don't enforce 13 plus guidelines. So, with that being said, VRChat is a 13 plus game. It's a social platform, just like Facebook is and Reddit and all that. But there's ways of kids getting around things, and they're smart. They're smart cookies. Don't get me wrong. Kids are smart. They'll find a way around to get into said area, but they can't get themselves out of that sticky situation when something like that comes around. I've been watching videos like uh, Kiwi and a handful of others about these predatory systems. Um, and they're doing a very good job of like helping out the community. Um, I want to share my story and about what I've done, and I have proof. I've also sent VRChat. They've gotten rid of someone. They're also back too. Um, I used to be a head admin for this furry group called the Furry Sanctuary, and it was, I actually had a pretty good time. I worked my way up the ranks. I did what I needed to do. I'm not really working, but I do have like a side hustle that I do to, keep myself afloat, and I just do deliveries. So a lot of people knew a person named Starry Wolf. He's a dude from Australia. Um, he, at first he's a kind soul. I mean, he does have like a disability. You can tell, and you can hear it in his voice. Um, he as soon as I became head admin, a lot more server channels became open, and he actually had, yeah, a lot. There's a handful of people that will sit there and deny this, but he actually had his own separate channel for himself that only like head admins or co-owners can see, and he had his own channel that he uploaded a lot of these diaper furs, a lot of these like minor explicit things. There's actually videos of him actually cuddling with minors. There's them talking to minors, sending pictures to minors. Everything got sent to VRChat. I sent all the evidence that I had over to Australia. So I don't know if Australia did something because he wasn't online for a while, but he's back. He's back now. So I just want parents to understand that VRChat is not meant for kids. It would never be meant for kids. Yes, it's classified as like I said, a 13 plus game, but VRChat will never be a kid friendly game. And there's a lot of hope that VRChat can actually, find ways of doing things. Like I've sat there and got a hold of a few dev teams. I even told Tupper that, like, we need to like expand out the moderation team to be like missile seekers and go after these kind of people. Like, even if we had to sit there and force our way into a private, if there's tons and tons and tons of private lobbies, if we can sit there and force ourselves into private lobbies where people think it's, quote unquote safe, we can probably do something about it. People think that just because you're in a private lobby doesn't mean you're in a private lobby. Um, some of the moderation team can go into private lobbies if the if if it calls for it. But it just feels like the moderation team isn't really doing enough. They're not doing their job. They're not really going above and beyond and helping people. I mean, except for the ticketing team, that's all they can do is just read the tickets and just call it a day. It's not good. It's not safe. Rec room's not safe either. That's another haven for pedophiles. Same thing with Among Us. VR was not meant for kids. It was not meant for younger consumers. It just feels like you parents. Yes, I'm blaming you parents first before I blame like any pedophiles because you're basically giving little Jimmy and Ashley a headset. And it's like, you know what? Let somebody else babysit you. I can't deal with you right now. Leave me alone. I have a kid. And he wanted a VR headset. I told him no. He is not allowed to have a headset. Uh, I told him he's not allowed to have VR because there's a lot of predatorial things. It's I like I said, I've been in VRChat for about 8 years, and I've seen a lot of things, and a lot of things have yet to be solved. Yet it's it's too much. It's too much for kids to be on here. There's Just because I'm in a cute avatar doesn't mean I can't just whip out adult stuff. This model doesn't have anything. It's safe for work. But there's other models that your kids can go to. There's an avatar search world. This is where I actually hate the avatar search world. It's great for many beneficiaries. It's terrible design because all these kids can go and search up certain words, and certain words can pop up into uh, not safe for work avatars that your kids should not be seeing. I'm sure little Jimmy and Ashley don't want to be. I mean, they're in VR. They've seen a lot. They do a lot. They've done a lot. And this is where I'm gonna uh, say, don't buy your kid a headset for Christmas. Buy them a Switch. Buy them something that they can't be predatory on, I guess. I don't want to see your kid coming on this game and being groomed by people around my age, 30s, 40s, 50s. I mean, the youngest I've seen was like someone in their 18s trying to date a 14-year-old. It's crazy. It's it's they think because as soon as they turn 18, they can still date someone that's around their quote unquote age. It's it's disgusting. Like regardless, like they also quote the Romeo and Juliet laws don't apply to them, which or they do apply to them because like just because I'm 21 and they're 17, I can still whatever. Romeo and Juliet laws do not do not exist online. That makes you more of a creep, more of a pedophile. Um, it is it is absolutely disgusting. Um, this is why a lot of games are rated M for mature, and a lot of games are 18 plus, yada yada yada. That's why I think there's actually a few games that are starting to become 18 plus because they know it's the safest bet they can protect kids. But I also think that VRChat is also made up with I don't want to make a statistic up, but I think VRChat is made up with like 18% kids. Maybe it's more than that. I could be wrong. I'll admit that when I'm wrong. I think it's like between 18 and 22% of is kids. And your little Jimmy or Ashley is on here, and they're getting groomed one way or another. And like I said, kids do not belong in VRChat. Kids should stay away from VR headsets because it's not meant for them. Your kid's brain is undeveloped until like the ages of like 24 and 25. So for them to be on VRChat, it's they rather be, I rather their heads be in a book or like learning how to draw or getting a suitable hobby that's not like VR or any VR type thing. I mean, teaching them how to code. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I I rather them learn coding because at least they can secure a better job in the future. My only tip for VR chat, um, as a longevity player, and you should take take some notes from people like us that's been around the block. Your moderation team needs to be better. There needs to be. I think you should instantly just jump into an 18 plus, like VRChat's 18 plus only. This is the only way around that we can sit there and actually get kids to not be on this platform. Yes, people have to sit there and buy a monthly thing for $10 to get their ID to get verified. That's not a hassle. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will sit there and jump from being a still a free game to they rather see less kids on this platform than kids running around saying the N words because their parents don't give like two craps for them, two craps about them. Sorry, I'm just overwhelmed about this whole bullcrap situation. It is December 13th, and this whole predatory system on VRChat is absolutely disgusting. Like I said, we need to do better. We actually do need like we already have like a whole bunch of people from the community are going after like these said predators, and that's a good thing. The bad thing is these predators are gonna sit there and just delete their account, make a new account with another email, and rinse and repeat. IP ban, a VRChat cannot do IP bans at all because VPNs exist, and all you have to do is just change your VPN and go that way. What they can do, they can actually do an IP ban on on Quest. So if your kid complains that they got IP banned from VRChat, there's a reason why. Your kid should not be on VRChat. Or they're finding these avatars that are highly suggestive and they're going into public worlds and throwing no clothes on, full human genitalia, or animal genitalia, and et cetera, and they think they have no repercussion on a game because it's meant for them. It's not. All these avatar creators are getting banned. They're getting their avatars deleted because of these said kids. I mean, it's on them for making their avatars public, but I mean, you can also hide your not safe for work content behind a locked pad, so no one else can get to it besides you and like I don't know your Patreons or people who sit there and. Anyways, parents, do not let your kids on VRChat. VRChat is a dangerous place. It has tons of predators. It has tons of pedophiles. We don't want your kids on here. I'm not saying it to be rude. I'm not trying to say be ignorant. Your kids do not belong on VRChat. Take it from me, a veteran of 8 years. It's disgusting to see little Timmy and Jimmy Timmy and Jimmy, little Jimmy and Ashley going out of their way and getting groomed on VR. I don't see why they're on here for a reason. They shouldn't be on here for a reason. And I think you need to be a better parent and get them off VR. Give them a book. Let them read. Teach them how to code. Something. Having them watch uh, YouTubers and like seeing their like quirky, cute avatars. No, don't let them. Tell them no, no VR. This is Fitz signing out.